content with rowing into the history books and our hearts in 2019, becoming the first Caribbean all-girl crew to row the Atlantic. Undaunted by the experience, they're back on the row again. And this time it's the world's deepest ocean, the Pacific, because it's there. Welcome to Team Antigua Island Girls. Samara, Kavinia, Elvira and Crystal, everybody in Antigua's been following you so closely, girls. We're on first name terms now, we don't need surnames. How are you doing?
We're good. A little exhausted, we're still training, but doing well.
Yeah, I bet. Well, the time's almost upon us. Are you feeling ready to go?
Ready, excited, eager to get out there and get it over with.
Looking forward to the end.
Whose bright idea was it to tackle the Pacific?
None of us. We were invited, and we said no initially. We did say no for the Pacific, and they're like, why not? We did it again, and then we thought about it. It's true, why not? Kind of thing, and then I called them and said, they said no, just like I did, and then I'm like, why not? And then they said, okay, fine.
Why am I not surprised? I mean, even after you rode the Atlantic, you didn't feel the slightest bit daunted about tackling the Pacific?
Not really. I think what we were mostly looking at land-based activities to do after, because we're still very much a team, a sisterhood, and we also have a not-for-profit charity as well. So we were looking at land-based activities to do. I've been trying to get them out sailing. The one time they came, it didn't go so well. They wanted to sip champagne and pop legs.
Yes.
So yeah, but we always had in the back of the mind that one day, maybe by a slim chance, we might know again, but didn't expect it to be so soon.
We put it out in the universe. We said maybe in 5 years, and 5 years later.
I suppose it is, yeah. I was thinking it wasn't that long, but actually, yeah, you're right. As Cora implies, the Pacific row is a little bit shorter. It's about 2,800 miles if you go in a straight line. But it's quite different challenges in the Pacific. What are the sort of unique challenges to rowing the Pacific as opposed to the Atlantic?
So, the Pacific, coming off of California, there are very strong currents bringing you back into the landmass of the United States.
Yeah.
And so, battling those currents will be intense for the first 2 weeks or so. Once we get past those currents, though, we have been told that conditions are to be more like the Atlantic. However, from our experience, Atlantic is a fickle
Very
entity.
fickle.
And so, who knows what that can mean? So, we just know we're going to have a tough first 2 weeks. The remainder, we just waiting
to see and deal with it. Keep rowing. Whatever comes our way, keep rowing. That's our mantra. It has been and it continues to be up to present day. Keep rowing.
Yeah. Well, apparently the Pacific is shrinking by 2 centimeters a year, so it's going to be really easy.
that's the word we think is easy.
But there's also the Ring of Fire, but that's not, and the wildlife, but
small things. I mean, last time you had some interesting experiences, some quite scary experiences. What are you going to be doing differently this time that you learned from rowing the Atlantic?
Well, we've done a few things differently. First of all, we have a new boat. The first time when we did the Atlantic, we had a used boat, which was on its 4th crossing. And now we have a brand new boat. So that should make things better. It's a newer model as well. It's lighter, faster, and we've been testing the boat as well. So hopefully all systems are a go throughout the entire crossing. And the other thing is our training has changed a little bit. Before we were a lot more strength-based for the Atlantic. This time we're more technique and endurance-based for maximum efficiency.
And the boat, Dadligal, is that how you pronounce it? How do you say it?
Dadligal.
So is it a better boat than last time? Obviously it's newer. Does it have things that the other boat didn't have that make life a little bit easier for you?
Definitely. More space.
Yeah.
for one.
Yeah, it's 4 feet longer.
Yeah, so
it's a lot slimmer,
yeah.
but that makes it a lot sleeker. It cuts through the water a little bit better, I find. It's fully carbon fiber, so it's supposed to be 1,000 pounds lighter. Let's hope it's 1,000 pounds lighter.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So yes, it's not that heavy of a boat to push through the water. We have new oars, which are a lot lighter and smaller. Fits perfectly in your hands.
Storage spaces
Yeah,
are more accessible.
Storage space is better. The other one, our cabin, Sam and I share the cabin, and
Yeah.
you actually have
I know
to
when we spoke last.
put your feet on the deck.
Saying about how small the space was.
Yeah, so this time our feet can be not underneath the deck. A tad bit more comfortable.
Yeah, it must have been quite hard. I know, like with any endurance training, you train and train and train, then you have to have a stop a certain time before the experience. Are you still training, or have you reached that point where you've now got to sit back and say, right, we've got to let our bodies calm down a little bit?
So we are still continuing the intense training up to the end of this week, until we leave on Sunday. We actually rode from Slipway down to Marina Bay last night, and now we're going to row her back up right after this interview. And then once we head off to Monterey, we have 2 weeks of mandatory sessions in terms of crisis operations, weather briefs, and so that will be our taper down 2 weeks to recover until we jump on the oars. So yes.
I do admire you for all this, but you must be so fit already. When you were out in the Atlantic, I mean, it's not without its trials, is it? When you were in the Atlantic, there were a few worrying incidents. You had broken oars and an autopilot. And did you capsize, or you almost capsized?
Almost. We had it's called a knockdown. So we're not sure if it was
so scary.
Rogue wave, or some people say it might have been a whale, because it wasn't a stormy night or anything. The sea was quite calm, and then our boat at 1:45 a.m. we went 90 degrees, broke 2 oars. Sam and Elva in the cabin got flipped. My head was under the water, and then it self-righted back up, and kept going. That's the best. Crystal was going here. I was still
in the air.
Holding for life,
broken oar
for life. Like saying, get back on track, Sam, because whenever we go off course, there's this beep. Whenever we're not heading towards Antigua. So only thing I remember is hearing the beep. I'm like, Sam, we need to get back on course. Still holding the oars, not realizing what happened. But yeah, it was a little scary because we did not expect it. When we had rough conditions, you're always like, you're stabilizing with the oars. When you're rocking too much, okay, let's steady this boat. So you knew something could happen in the rough conditions, even though you keep on. But in that particular night, completely relaxed, going home. 3 days before we got to Antigua, and then boom, So we had no warning.
It's not without risk, is it? I mean, what are some of the risks apart from these things? You've obviously experienced those, you know how to handle them. What sort of risks have the organisers tried to prepare you for?
Everything. Death, fire.
That's comprehensive.
Everything. So we have
medical emergencies, technical emergencies, something as simple as a marlin going through the boat. You have to repair it.
Oh yeah, that was one of the other boats, wasn't it?
Yeah. So everything you
loss
can
of
think of.
Communication, everything.
Yeah. Everything you can think of, there is a crisis response. And if they haven't thought of it and it occurs, it'll be in there next year. if we happen to have a crisis that they've never thought about, they add it to the crisis.
Aliens landing on the boat.
Like aliens.
Making up as we go along.
But yeah, everything from death, fire, because they've had boats that caught fire. They've had a boat capsized just this year and never self-righted, so had to get rescued by a passing ship. So we've gone over everything that they can think of that could go wrong.
So they say. But you've got that support there, haven't you? If anything did go wrong, they'd come and whisk you up and save you.
Not exactly like that, but
Not, yeah.
So fairy tale.
yes, we wish.
So for example, the guys that had to get into their life raft this year, something happened with the communication station and they were in their life raft, which was punctured for almost 24 hours, trying to do mayday and a nearby ship heard them and responded, but they started to get fearful and hopeless that they would have been rescued. Because, and so since then, in our grab bag, we must have satellite phone, EPUB, so that's what I'm saying. So they managed to grab the grab bag, but they lost the communications that were not in the grab bag. Only the VHF, the handheld VHF was in. So now, like I said, anything that occurs, there is a safety response. So in the grab bag now we have to have a sat phone, the EPUB,
strobe
Garmin,
lights, everything.
An
Yeah.
extra VHF, anything you can think of.
Yes.
An extra.
But you're well prepared technology-wise. I mean, technology is moving so quickly nowadays, and obviously in 2018 you had all the EPUB, all the things that you need, all the technology. But is there more stuff that's come up in the last few years? You had autopilot, water makers, solar panels, the navigational tools. What new innovation has come up since you rode the Atlantic that you can use?
I wouldn't particularly say any new innovations have come up, but
You've been
it's
updated.
just like you have to have more, just
More,
in case.
yeah.
So you have to have the backup to the backup to the
Yeah.
backup. Yes,
So
because
the
I mean
handheld-
safety is the
Yes.
top
So you
priority.
mentioned the water maker, but the handheld water maker is how many pumps full?
A lot.
I mean, it's a lot of
Oh, you make a liter per
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
We need some improved backup
Yeah.
systems. So yeah, I mean,
But also they're very good at clarifying for you what is an actual emergency and what's not an emergency and when to, you know. 'cause
Oh,
some people-
that's
that's
key,
very
isn't it?
important, yes.
I mean, you're physically prepared, you've been through the experience, an experience like this before, but it must be very mentally challenging as well, and you would know having done it. How do you prepare for that?
yeah.
Okay, so the thing is, I know in the first row, we thought it was going to be much more mentally taxing than it actually was. And I think the reason is that we are a team of 4 versus
Yeah.
a team of 1 or 2 where you're pretty much out there alone most of the time. At least whenever we're rowing, you have someone to talk to at some point. You're never really alone. So there's that part. And the second thing is, I mentioned that we were doing endurance training, and being on the rowing machine, doing rowing training, is one of the best, I think, mental toughness exercises
Yes.
because it's so boring,
Yes.
so monotonous.
I guess so.
So monotonous. And we're on that machine for 2 hours and then take a break and then we're back on again. So it's like, it's a long time. Long time.
And we did in our first row, because we didn't know what to expect. We did speak with a therapist about conflict resolution, about
Personality traits.
personality traits in the event that. So we still have that we're familiar with. And for example, Elvira is claustrophobic, so we have techniques that we can use to help. But she never had an episode, so we still have those tools in our bag if we needed to use them. You know, meditate, we use music, we sing, listen to audiobooks.
Talk kind of stuff.
Sam has some great vivid dreams that she tells us.
I think the familiarity is what really helps.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
team and you've been through it before, so you know who you can rely on and what's going to happen and what you can do if something happens. So I think that's what helps.
I seem to remember lots of chocolate was part of the experience as well. Are you well prepared with that?
We're changing it up a little bit. We're trying to avoid dairy. We're trying to not have too much dairy on this trip. So we have treats. definitely,
Yes.
but they are going to be as much as possible
Less
non-dairy and more
Healthy.
Yeah.
long
More
energy.
nutrient,
Yes.
more nutrient filled.
Yeah, more nutrient dense.
I know people don't think prunes are snack, but that was one of our, and will be
Prunes
again.
and
ginger, dried
Foods
ginger.
and
Dates,
peanut butter,
peanut butter, yeah.
dates, dried
Yeah.
dates.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we'll have better options.
I mean, the chocolate bars will still be there,
Yeah.
but not in the, we'll have other options to, you
Yeah.
know, supplement that.
But I thought, if you're actually rowing the Pacific, I would have thought that would be one of the least of your worries, having a healthy diet.
I don't think
There
it's
you
not,
go.
yeah, the
No,
thing about
no,
it,
it's
it's not
not
so much the healthy
healthy,
diet,
the
it's trying
effect.
to,
Sustain,
Recovery
stay
and stuff.
fueled,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
aid in recovery faster to sustain a certain energy level. So even this year we're
Yeah.
doing caffeine, chewing gums, like different things. Crystal got so tired at night she would try to eat the coffee
Like
granules.
yeah.
So this year we have better options for the energy boost, you know, caffeine gummies, caffeine gum. So it's not really about the healthy eating, but sustainable for the challenge to stay well fueled to get to the finish line.
Yeah, you do need that. Oh, what's your rain this time? It took you 47 days to row the Atlantic. Most Pacific rows apparently take an average of about 62 days. But you're aiming for something much faster than that. What's your plan?
Definitely on the 40 days.
Yes.
That's our goal.
Wow.
On the 40
Well, the
days.
fastest women's team took 34. Do you think you'll beat that?
Sorry?
The fastest women's team to row the Pacific has taken 34 days.
well, it's very weather dependent.
It's weather, yeah. So we've learned, because, you know, like I said, before our actual experience, we were going to smash it, you know, we were going to do all these great things.
But
And
Mother Nature.
at the Atlantic decided, you know, haha, really? Okay. We're not sending you any wind today. Not tomorrow.
For 3 weeks.
It was actually one of the slowest years for the Atlantic. A couple of systems were in the north, so a lot of the teams. I can tell you, even our world record holder trainer, he has the peers record, and he was trying to beat the 29 days as a peers because he did it in 30 days as a solo. And the Atlantic, like I said, laughed at our goals, his goal, and he made it. He won the entire fleet in 32 days. Because
Yeah, you'll do it.
records are weather dependent. That's so. But whatever the Pacific sends, we are going to
Give it all.
work with.
Yes.
But you've been working really hard to raise money, not just to make the road, but to actually support your charity as well. And you've got many sponsors and supporters. And Budget Marine, they're one of your silver sponsors. They've been incredibly supportive.
Okay.
Apart from the financial sponsorship that Budget Marine's given to you, how much has that support and that strong backup meant to you guys?
I think it's been like invaluable. I mean,
They were one of the first to step
one of the
Step
first to
up.
step on, and it's a really, really good fit because we have so many marine needs. Just like you
Yes, so
kind of
you're
drop
in
in
the
the
place for your
corner.
equipment.
Yes. So it's been more than financial. Louisa checks in on us regularly. Anything you guys need that they can help us with, and I mean we cannot explain how grateful we are for the support, not just the financial. The financial support helped us get the boat to Antigua, so without the boat we couldn't be rowing the Pacific.
The moral support will get us across the finish line, let me tell
I
you.
think it was a great partnership and it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly the right place to get all your equipment and everything you need. And that's the nice thing about Budget Marine. They will financially sponsor you, but they support so many sailing things. It's great that they're there for you guys. Are they going to be kind of with you all through the road as well?
Yes.
Of course.
Morally behind you.
Yes, as they know,
Yes.
no shirts.
Our boat will be outfitted also with Budget Marine, and we will be in communication as to our progress
Yeah.
from the Pacific with Louisa, so definitely we will continue.
I quite envy your shopping spree at Budget Marine. That's awesome.
We did have our shopping spree. We
I
did.
think the whole country is behind you, and I think people genuinely feel that they know you because you've been role models ever since 2018, and of course they've been part of naming your boat, designing your oar, providing food, farewell parties, as well as that support from the sponsors. What's that outpouring of support from the whole country meant for you?
So we do acknowledge that this is a different row from our first row. We have, and so we have been able to reach out to the diaspora as well. So from the local side of things, people have been they're checking on us. No matter where we go, people are just like, oh, all right, how's your prep going? You know, they ask us if we're crazy again and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, we have that support, and we have the support in the diaspora. I mean, even our uniforms right now have been created by a husband and wife team who half of which originate from Antigua. So we're getting that support abroad. Those who are going to be able to make it to the start line in California will be there as well. So, you know, we're getting support all around.
I know that's amazing. You see articles all around the world. When you went to row the Atlantic all those years ago, did you ever imagine how much it would actually change your lives and the impact it would have on everybody? Or did you think once you rowed the Atlantic that would be it?
No. we actually didn't imagine that it would have gotten to the magnitude that it has been. Obviously, we all have a spirit of adventure, and we were competitors. So when we were doing this, and then we had an opportunity to represent our country, but I mean, I think we've all represented Antigua in different sports before, so it wasn't anything different for us going in to represent Antigua, compete. This time we did attach it to a charity, so we loved that part about it, that we were doing it for something bigger than ourselves. But we did not expect or imagine that it would have become what it became, being a source of inspiration for so many boys and girls, breaking barriers, because it is a white male-dominated sport, and to see little black girls with no rowing experience decide to not take on a little river, but an actual ocean in less than a year. Even we didn't understand what we were doing, so maybe we are a little crazy, but I guess only after when people explained to us what we did and the magnitude and how it made them feel that we started to have an understanding of how great this feat was for us and for everybody else.
Well, I see it in a lot of Antiguan young girls when I talk to them, they all know you, they've been inspired by you. You really do inspire people, and girls especially. And the charity for which you're raising money is for girls in conflict with the law, isn't it?
Yes, that's the cause that we are supporting. We have been in partnership with the Ministry of Social Transformation to identify the needs of our local community, and this is one of the needs that was highlighted. And so we have put our support behind this cause, and we are raising money through our charity, because we set up a non-profit as well. So through our charity, we will be supporting this particular cause in association with the Ministry of Social Transformation.
Just so you know, the number one target with this cause is to build a facility for girls in conflict with the law, because there's none in Antigua. So when these 13-year-olds that make a mistake, get in trouble, they actually are put in holding cells at the prison, in the jails, or put in group homes with more timid, abused young girls. That's just not a good situation. We actually spoke to some girls that were in situations like that, and they said they were bullied so much they either had to run away or just join the gangsters. Because in these homes they don't have the resources to help the girls in conflict with the law. And once we have a facility, then the next step is we'll help continue to raise funds for the resources to try and, change mindset, change environment, educate, and make young girls aware of better choices in life.
That's an incredibly important thing that you're raising money for. Yeah, you say continue to raise money, so what are you going to row next?
I didn't say row.
Raise money. Yes, which means another adventure, but not
So
necessarily
there are other,
money.
exactly, there are other land-based
things.
adventures that can happen.
Everest, oh, everybody's climbed Everest, that's not new, so you'll have to think of something else. Guys, when is the row actually start?
June 12th, from
June 12th.
Monterey Bay in California and then Hanalei Bay in Hawaii.
Right, we will be following you on the Yellow Tracker and watching your social media as well. And we're all there behind you, praying for you and supporting you. Samara, Cornelia, Elvira, Crystal, thank you so much for talking to me today. Have an amazing time. I look forward to hearing all about it.